Okay, so now maybe we talk a little bit about the history of slavery in Africa or in Ghana.
Yes.
Or how you get the slaves.
Yeah, slaves in Africa, we see in most cases, they were captives. You go to all. Because we were looking for the land and gold and diamonds and other things. So if you meet somebody who doesn't speak your language, you take him to be your enemy. Therefore, you attack. So if you defeat the person, that means he's a captive. You take him. For instance, in some area in West Africa, if you are captured, the one who captured you will bring his nephew or family to stay there as a controller. To control you people, you pay tributes and other things to the person, bring to the chief, you take some of your people to come to the chieftaincy to be treated. Some, they lock their mouth. When it's time for food, they open it to eat. So in most cases, slaves were captives from attacks, wars, and other things. So when the white man came, it was a barter trade, exchanges. That time money was not, we didn't know dollar. What they were doing is we were exchanging people for guns, for salt, and other things which we didn't know how to do it, but the white man brought, it was good. So they were exchanging people for other goods. See, that is how the slave trade started. Because you capture them, you fight, instead of killing them, you sell them. Instead of wasting time to kill them, you sell them. That is how the slaves were being sold, being exported, because they were useful in some areas like America, Britain, for farming, for other issues. So they were sold to go and help to produce one or two things. Do you understand? Yeah, we needed money, they needed people to work for them. In another way, if today we can say those economic refugees, they travel from here to go to America or any other area to look for white-collar jobs, any day would do. See, but those days, captives have no say in the contrast between the masters and the whites. So you are a captive. We sell you. No, if I go to shop and take bread, it's for me. I buy, I pay, I take, I go away. So people were lucky. They abolished the sex trade. Some were exported to Liberia. Others were dumped in Sierra Leone. Those who were lucky are in America there. So as at now, since about 1874, they've got the freedom. But over 1,000 years, or almost 2,000 years, people still consider themselves slaves. I don't understand. The word must, if we abolish it, then the word must go. But still, people still live in certain countries and call themselves slaves, like Kimberly Daniels. 2,000 years, Israelites, Israel people, they were in captive slavery. Babylon, Persia, they were captives. Today, Israel, you cannot say Israelis are slaves. They are princes and princes. They don't even think of they were slaves before. I see no reason why still people stay in America and think they are slaves. What they need, me, Isaac, what I feel the blacks in America need is they have to improve their standards. The white man sets a standard. When you meet the standard, you will be accepted. in Africa, even if I have a house girl, he doesn't eat with my children. He doesn't go to school with my children. He's a house girl. I paid in my house. So for the house girl to qualify to eat with me, it means she or he must meet some standards. So if they want to do away with slavery, they should stop talking about slavery and improve their standards. For instance, the blacks who have improved, reached some standards with the whites, they are accepted. Somebody like Condoleezza Rice, Andrew Young, all of them, we heard their name here. They have been able to improve, studied, and reach some standard which the whites accept. There are blacks from Africa who are lecturers in America. Harvard, we go there, you see blacks from Africa studying there. Why those people who are in America, they're sitting down and talking about slavery? Yet there are people who went there to study and they have been accepted and they are working there. For instance, for me to say like this, former President Obama, he is considered as a black, but he attains some standards which the whites voted him into power. Why still people don't think of it to improve their standards and still think of slavery? If you consider yourself to be a slave, and they will enslave you. Blacks must say we are not slaves. Instead of being vagabonds, taking guns in the streets, go to school, improve yourself, get a degree, get a good job, fine. There are a lot of black Americans who are doing well. I read about them. Even now we have some in Malawi here from AT&T University and other things. They are here, they are blacks. You see? So when you don't improve yourself to attain some standards, the whites will still consider you as a slave because you have nothing to do. You are in the street doing vagabond, taking guns, and a slave is a slave. You'll be shot like a dog. So people must improve standards. If you improve standards, I feel our white brothers will accept you. But if you consider yourself a slave, you will remain a slave. If you consider yourself as a prince or citizen of America, I don't agree. It doesn't make sense that American citizen still consider himself a slave, where the technology and civilization is coming from. I don't understand. American who consider himself as a slave, not in Ghana, not in Malawi, because civilization is coming from the West. You say the best come from the West. Why still people are considered as slaves in that country? And you call yourself American. It's a disgraceful thing. Americans are slaves. If Americans are slaves, then they cannot be our leaders. We don't accept them. Because a slave cannot be my leader. Because my grandpa was a trader, big one, big time trader. If today I could have been a billionaire, like a Trump, I would have been in his class. But now look at, they will abolish it, I'm still in Africa. See? So those who are in America, please, I'm saying people should improve their standards, get into the class, the higher class, don't remain at the bottom. Fight a good fight. Go to school, be a graduate, be a professor. Then the whites will accept you. But still, if you were a cleaner, you were a cleaner. Even the blacks in America, they have house workers. They don't eat with them. A house worker is a white house worker. They don't go to the same school with their children because they cannot. The house workers cannot afford. The same thing is the white. You, the black, you cannot afford a certain school. So why do you challenge? If you can pay, let's go. If you cannot pay, then sit down. Because even among the blacks in America, some are working for some. You employ your fellow black. You pay him less. What you eat, he doesn't eat. The school your children go, he doesn't go. So what is the fuse about every day the whites, they treat us bad, we don't have a property. But you say you are a slave. How do a slave own a property? A slave cannot own a property unless you are a citizen of America. Then you can own a property. So those who consider themselves slaves, keep quiet. You cannot own a property until you recognize that you are a citizen of America. Then you own a property. But if you consider yourself to be a slave in America, then forget. You will never own a property. That is the advice I want to give. People should think to say, no way for slavery. I'm not a slave. I'm a citizen of America. Because we in Africa here, we are worried all the time that the whites are treating blacks in a wrong way. But now I have known that Kimberly Daniels have let me know that the blacks consider themselves as a slave in America, which they must stop, because equality, a slave cannot be equal to a master. Unless we consider ourselves, we are masters. We are equal to the master, we are not slaves. Then property can be shared. But now that some of us consider ourselves as slaves in America, then, how do we challenge our master? So let's have the idea that the blacks in America are not slaves. We are American citizens. You see, Trump is deporting people. They don't deport the black Americans that go, where are they taking you? They deport the Mexicans, they deport Ghanaians, they deport Nigerians, they deport Syrians, they deport Russians, they deport Chinese, not the black American, because you are a citizen. So say I'm a citizen of America, I'm a prince of America, rather than I'm a slave of America. We are not. We are not. So consider yourself a citizen, rather than Kimberly Daniels saying she is a slave. They should deport her, because if you are a slave, you are not from America. You should tell them where you come from, where your grandfather come, which she doesn't know. So the blacks, they should keep her quiet, or they should sue her. It's a disgraceful thing for her to go into pulpit preaching about Jesus Christ, and he said he's a slave. Even me, I'm not a slave. I'm a Christian. I'm a Jew. Through Jesus Christ, I'm a Jew. No Jew considers himself to be a slave. Even the Persians, that is, Persia is now known as Iran. See? So can Iran or Iraq people or Egypt say their slaves are Israelites because they were enslaved before? No. No. No, they don't accept. Iran can never say Israelites are their slaves. No. Gone are the days when Zerubbabel and other people were captives in Iran or Persia. And still the blacks, you have been in America for about 3,000 years ago, and you still consider yourself as a slave. No, that is a wrong topic. That woman must apologize. I'm here. Even I don't have any lawyer. I could have taken her to court to sue her for saying that blacks were slaves. African, we are washing trees. I could have seen, and I will sue the Florida governor. Florida governor, I will sue her for appointing a slave as a representative. If it's a slave, who is she going to represent? Who is she going to? Is she representing slaves or citizens of Americans, or who is she representing? So that the governor who is in Florida too is in problem, because me, my court, if I open my court, he will appear before my judges. Why a slave is a representative? Who is he representing? Americans must be represented, not slaves. Americans must be represented, not slaves. So if Kimberly is a slave, please sack her. Thank you.